Hey, great job. You built a box. They're on the 4th period shelf, and they should have their names on them. Be careful when you're getting them down so that you don't throw somebody else's on the floor. You might even send Nate in there right now while you're watching this video to get them out and put them on the green table or the blue table. What do I know? When you have your box, should have your name on the inside. My name is Simus. Then your name is on the outside. It's not going to be there after today. Then you made a top. Nope, you need to make one today. So cut an 8-inch board. That miter saw right there, still set up. Cut an 8-inch board. Run it through the router all the way around. You can put your name on it if you want to. Put the best side facing up. We can put our name on the inside. Then when they get separated, we'll know it's yours. So quick little sand and then put your name on it. Some Sharpies on the supply table. Don't be afraid. I'm just gonna write SMS again because I'm not keeping this box. And then we'll keep those together. Now your lid might not fit. I'll solve that problem tomorrow. Tuesday. Have a great weekend without me. Don't worry about it. We'll fix that. We'll fix that on Tuesday. For today, all you got to do is be able to sand it with the lid and the box. I'd start with 100 grit. Now listen, at the blue table and the red table, all those sanders are 100 grit. This table is 150, and then at the green table is 220 grit. But also 7th and 8th period need it to be that way. So if you change the sandpaper, please change it back. 100 at blue and red, 150 at yellow, 220 at the green table. I would love that if you would put that back so those systems are in place for the wood cookies. And if you can't remember what that is, look at a wood cookie and it says 150, and then just double check the sanders have 150. Anybody who can change them back, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, what I would do is go blue table and sand, or red table, sand with 100 grit, and then I'd come here, 6 of you, 7, 8, sand with 150 grit, and then go to the blue, green, that table over there, and sand it with 220. There's a bunch of 220. But take your time and do a nice job. This is when we got to get rid of the scratches. So it'll take you a while, especially with 100 grit, to sand. And so there's at least 14 sanders set up, blue and red table with 100 grit. I grabbed one of them, so I've got that. When you're sanding, remember, please always sand with the grain. Make sure that you sand the top, and then round these edges. Sand the top and round the edges. You can sand and then come over this edge like this. All right, don't sand corners. 2 things are gonna happen if you sand the corner. You're gonna put a hole in the sandpaper. We're gonna know you sanded the corners. The corner is sharp and it's gonna put a hole in the center of the sandpaper, wreck the sandpaper, and then you're gonna be upset. So don't do that. Sand the face and edges. Don't sand the corners because you can never get all 8 corners to look the same. And if they don't look the same, then your box is gonna look crazy. So just sand the box, sand the faces and the edges. The corners will just naturally get knocked down, by accident. But if not, and they're still sharp later on, I'll show you how to knock those down pretty easy. You have a top. You can lay it flat and sand the top. You can sand the edges. Make sure you're always sanding with the grain. With the grain. The grain, is the stripes, and so you'll know which direction it is because the stripes in the wood. And then just sand with the grain, 100, 150, 220. I would not be in a hurry to try to get to 220 today. Just do a nice job. The scratches, if you don't get them out with 100 grit, you're not going to get them out with 150 grit. If you put in scratches with 100 and you don't get them out with 150 grit, then they're not going to come out with the 220. And then you will think it's nice. But when we stain these, when I get back, when we stain these next week, Wednesday probably, the scratches are going to show. So make sure that you do a really good job. You don't have to push hard. You don't have to go crazy. A little bit of pressure and let the sander do the work. sand, sand with 100 until it feels nice. Round these corners. Sharp corners will get dented. Sharp corners and the wood will chip off. So we don't like corners. Now, you might run into a situation where that doesn't feel like it's one piece of wood right here, where one side or the other is sticking out. You're just gonna sand on that. Sand, sand, sand until it feels smooth. You might need to spend some time on the ends. This is end grain, super hard to sand out here. This will be a little easier. The end grains are gonna be harder to sand. So you're gonna spend some time sanding on those. Sand, 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 sand. Round the edges, but not the corners. If you get the corners, ouch, not gonna be good. Then sand off your pencil marks. No names on them. Sand off any scratches, dents, dings. Spend some time sanding them. Have a friend look at them. Okay, I got a dent right there. I got some pencil marks. I got to keep sanding. It's going to take you 10 or 15 minutes to sand this box, you know, really well with 100 grit. Then sand the lid. Sand the edges. Don't sand the dados. Leave those alone. If you must sand these, get a sanding block and some hand sand and hand sandpaper and just sand those. Then when it's all done, it'll be nice and smooth and soft. Won't be today. Probably be Tuesday. Be good. Have fun. I'll see you later.
I know he's beautiful.